Stuttgart, Arkansas is the duck capital of the world.
It's part of their soul, it's part of their DNA.
Holy cow, there's birds all over.
Here they come.
The birds act differently, you call differently.
You have to let them hear you. We're going to go out and stand by the trees.
Which is a traditional Arkansas style of timber hunting for mallard.
Shoot that right.
They swirl around above your head, they're dipping and dodging trees.
It's all about duck hunting in Arkansas. Yes!
From the spirit of adventure and the heartbeat of the hunt. It's what to trust, it's what to keep, it's Winchester. We're what to trust, we're what to keep. We're Winchester.
We got 4 birds coming. Let's take a look at these.
Oh, this is gonna be fun.
In Germany, they say Stuttgart, and it's where you go to find expensive automobiles. In Stuttgart, Arkansas, they grow rice and have the finest duck hunting in the world.
I think when you come to a place that they teach duck calling in high school, you know you're in a duck zone. This place is about duck hunting, and it's written all over the walls, everywhere. It's part of their soul, it's part of their DNA. It goes generations deep.
Every sport has its hallowed ground, and Stuttgart, Arkansas is for duck hunters what Augusta, Georgia is for golfers. For 3/4 of a century, Stuttgart's been proclaimed the duck capital of the world. Founded over 100 years ago by German immigrants and lying in the middle of the Mississippi flyway, Stuttgart's rice fields and flooded timber has long been a mecca for both ducks and duck hunters.
Stuttgart, Arkansas is the duck capital of the world. Thankfully for those of us in Arkansas, the capital is a broad circle. Grew up about an hour and a half north of here in Helena, Arkansas. Started duck hunting when I was 6. I was with my grandfather and my father on the White River. I've spent the last 43 years in pursuit of those same birds. These lanyards around my neck represent basically a lifetime worth investment in time. I'm not sure how many hours each one represents, but let's put it this way, I've put my time in. They represent a lot of good times. I've been fortunate enough to hunt California, Florida, Mexico, Canada, you name it, but this is home.
A lifetime of experience hunting ducks and managing waterfowl habitats brought Bill Benton to Green Tree Hunting Club. Green Tree rests on 640 acres of the green timber ducks cannot resist.
The duck habitat here is amazing. We have natural hardwood bottomlands. We have artificially impounded hardwood like Green Tree. We've got rice, soybeans, every food source in the world that a wintering mallard could want.
Coming right here. Come.
I've spent some of my greatest times and met some of the most wonderful people I know in a duck blind.
Oh,
All right, I got my first duck out of the way. Feel better about that?
this is a big day for you, though.
It really is, actually. Get to spend time with you and kill my first duck. I mean, what more can a man ask?
Benton's guest at Green Tree on this hunt is platinum record musician and fanatic waterfowler Steve Farris.
Hunting with Steve Farris is an experience in and of itself. Steve? Nicely done.
Bullseye! Bill,
Yes, sir.
love that.
Awesome.
Love that in the trees. This is the real deal, isn't it?
Nicely done.
This is the real deal, man.
Steve's a great guy. We've become close friends. I've had the good fortune of hunting with Steve in Nebraska, and now we shared the timber in Arkansas.
Native-born Nebraskan Steve Farris has made his life all about ducks and guns and rock and roll. And at home, along the Central Flyway, he's dedicated himself to enhancing the habitat of the waterfowl he loves.
Nice shot.
There we are.
That was awesome.
I like that.
I like that too.
I like that whole, duck hunt. I prepared for this hunt. First day I shot a duck in Bassett, Nebraska, and it was a green-winged teal. My life's been nothing but hunting ducks, and though I was a musician for many years and I had some great successes, I've often thought, I wonder how successful I'd be if I wasn't daydreaming about duck hunting all the time.
Single on the left, coming hard.
I'll take him with me. The art of duck hunting is calling a duck in or fooling them by the placement of decoys, your concealment, and everything else. If you haven't fooled them, got them to go feet down, cupped wings, you haven't earned the right to kill them.
Get him, Steve. Well, he set up pretty, didn't he?
I'm not about killing stuff anymore. I'm about decoying the birds and getting them in, and that's why I love duck hunting. You know, Brad, optimism is the key ingredient in all duck hunters, you know. Absolutely.
On the hunt with Farris and Benton, and on his first time in Arkansas, is Winchester ammunition expert Brad Kreiner.
Come from Southern Illinois, I'm used to hunting a lot of open flooded fields, corn. You get a lot of pass shots. The birds act differently, you call differently. The shots are completely different. When Bill and Steve were explaining to me how we were going to be shooting it, I thought, well, this is going to be like shooting ducks in a barrel. And it's really not. You get a bird come whipping in, and he's cutting through trees, and then all of a sudden the bottom just falls out, and he's dropping in on you, and you're trying to shoot a falling target. It's pretty tough. Get him.
There you are, Billy.
Man, that blind side of that duck, whew.
140 years of shot shell innovation went into Winchester's new blindside waterfowl ammunition. First came 6-sided hex shot for increased knockdown through optimum penetration at 1,400 feet per second. And this innovative shot is stackable for denser loads.
We have tested multiple shot shapes, landed on what we're calling hex shot. It's got 6 flat sides on it, packs very well. We get 15% more packing density with the hex shot than you do a standard round shot. So that allowed us to put more pellets in the same amount of space that we would put a standard load.
Then came the diamond cut wad for more consistent and more generous killing patterns.
When you look at duck hunters, there's a large group of them that want high velocity, the other group want high load weights. And up until now, you've had to choose. What both groups want is more dead ducks, and that's what blindside really offers.
Farris, Kreiner, and Benton will put blindside ammo to the ultimate test on maple leafing Arkansas ducks.
Yes!
Perfect.
Bullseye.
That deserves a high five right here.
Winchester Legends is brought to you by Winchester Repeating Arms, the guns that work. By Hunter Specialties, for sportsmen by sportsmen. By Ram Trucks, Guts, Glory, Ram. And by Swarovski Optic.
At Green Tree, we've got several options for hunting the timber. These include forced permanent blinds. We have one of the blinds that's located in the largest of the holes on the property. This blind was actually here when we got here. We call it the skybox. It's about 20 feet off the ground. We've got a nice set of steel stairs and walk up, and it gives you the opportunity to shoot them coming and going.
Holy cow, there's birds all over.
Get them. That's the way you call them through the trees, Jess.
Woo! Single coming around, Brad.
Brad, shoot the duck. Shoot that duck. Hit it. Perfect.
Bullseye.
That deserves a high five right here.
Duck hunting here is a little different. They're the same ducks, and they respond to calling, I think, the same way, but the calling has to be a little different.
Wood ducks on the left. Get them.
Woo! Good shooting, boys.
I used to think it was a bunch of hogwash about having to call softer, because in Nebraska, you can't call loud enough. Here it's about toning it down, doing a little different thing. It sounds really, really different in the timber.
You'll see every variety of call in the world, and they're all effective depending on the person that's at the other end of the call.
That's kind of the fun of listening to guys that are really good callers. And by the way, they're all good callers down here.
Such good callers that each November, for the last 75 years, Stuttgart is where the World's Championship Duck Calling Contest has been held. Traditionally, this is to duck hunting and calling what the Masters is to golf. And an integral part of that tradition is perhaps the world's greatest waterfowl hunting store, Max Prairie Wings.
Max is a special place. If they make it for duck hunting, Max has it. And I have spent many afternoons in Max and plan on spending many more.
Max has always been a big fan of Winchester ammunition. Duck hunters are looking for the best edge they can get in ammunition at the best price that they can buy it for. And I think we've hit a bullseye here with the new blindside.
Revolutionizing waterfowl hunting is the new Winchester blindside ammunition, and this edition of the Winchester Ammunition Training Tip features waterfowling experts discussing the benefits of the American Legends latest load.
We are actually able to take an 1 3/8 load and send it down range at 1,400 feet per second.
I got to shoot this on a hunt that was extremely windy. I mean 60-mile-an-hour gust wind. We had no other choice but to take longer decoying shots. And what I found with them is I had to do no extra lead compensation, which you usually do in windy days. Just kind of shooting normal shooting, and they were just decking these birds.
There's 3 diamond pedals on it that deploy upon exit of the barrel, and they come out so true every time. You get a nice, straight, even pattern.
You'd hit a bird sometimes that wouldn't necessarily fold him, and he'd sail down a little bit and looking like, gee, this is gonna be a chase with a dog and all that stuff. I can't tell you how many times over the course of 2 different hunts, by the time you could walk over that duck, he was dead anyway.
It really reminds you of the old lead days. When you hit them with a shot of blindside, it knocks them down.
You have one guy buy a case, him and his buddies all go to the blind the next morning, and that afternoon, there's 5 of his buddies in here buying all a case of ammunition apiece. So the proof's in the pudding.
You no longer have to choose, do I want a heavy payload or do I want more velocity? With blindside, you're gonna get both.
This episode of Training Camp was brought to you by Winchester Ammunition, the American Legend.
Typically the guys will stand outside of the duck blinds with the dogs. They have a better 360 view of what the ducks are doing.
Here we go.
Timber calling is a little softer. It's a little more deliberate and largely depends on the body language of the ducks and how the weather is for that particular day.
The decoy spreads, it isn't so calculated about what the spread is, and the concealment isn't quite the same. You don't have to conceal quite as hard here, but you have to let them hear you. And I think that's what I pick up on down here, why the culture has always been about calling.
Now look.
With a bigger hole like this, especially on cloudy days, it gives the birds can see this particular opening from a long way away. And as you notice today, we're shooting down and up.
Pretty interesting, the downward shot from a blind.
Very interesting and not typical. Well, let's get a few of them, actually.
That's a day. Have a good day, boys.
Hey boys, this blindside, make them pay.
Yeah.
Great hunt.
Did great.
Thank you.
It's too bad we didn't do any good.
Well, you know, this is about all we can do. We have to, these guys right here, that's XGD.
XGD. What does XGD stand for?
Extra good duck.
Extra good.
That's a GD?
That's a GD.
That's GD. He's a borderline XGD,
Well, that's a
actually.
darn good
Borderline.
duck.
Yeah,
Well, that's a beautiful
borderline.
duck.
I sure like that ammo.
That was good hunting.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
Put them on the water.
Did it great.
Good job, guys.
Let's head back to the lodge and have a cup of coffee. You know, my theory is the lucky ones are the ones that really know they are, and I've been blessed.
Bill Benton's 40-plus years of waterfowling experience has led him to his newest hunting club.
I've had some nice properties over the years. Green Tree certainly qualifies and probably ranks at the top.
Then it's time for the heart of Arkansas duck hunting, wading flooded timber.
Love that. Love that in the trees.
Winchester Legends is brought to you by Winchester Ammunition, the American Legend, by Ram Trucks, Guts, Glory, Ram, by Redhead, finest in the field since 1856, and by Swarovski Optic.
Get it.
I will.
Nice shot, Steve.
Bingo!
Nice shot.
Just like duck hunting. You like that sort of thing.
For Steve Farris, the green timber of Arkansas may seem a radical departure from the rivers and potholes of his Prairie State, Nebraska home. But what ties the two together for him is waterfowl. Even ahead of his love of music's been his love of ducks and geese. That's why Farris gives back through his membership on the board of Ducks Unlimited Conservation Programs Committee and by his private work in enhancing wetlands habitat.
Steve's a true sportsman. He has a passion for what he does. His properties in Nebraska are special properties that he sculpts.
Although they live nearly a continent apart, Benton and Farris share a similar passion about the birds and the lands they have come to value through their mutual love of hunting.
So Bill's been building clubs and duck facilities for longer than I have. We have a lot of similarities, which I think is interesting because we've come from different places and different paths. Yet we have a sort of energy about what we think this stuff is and what we're involved in our passions.
I grew up hunting the timber, guided in high school, just basically followed that passion for the timber through some special properties, none the least of which was the Winchester property in Stuttgart, Arkansas, that John Olin started in 1945.
Chairman of Winchester for many decades, John M. Olin's spirit of conservation was reflected in the numerous properties he dedicated to wildlife and wildlife habitat.
Captains of industries and heads of states and World War II generals and Cary Grant and Gary Cooper and Clark Gable and you name it, they hunted the Winchester Club.
Olin's Winchester Club became the Greenbrier, and Benton owned it from 1993 to 2002. 3 years later, he purchased his new club, the Green Tree, surpassing Greenbrier in every way.
I've had some nice properties over the years. Green Tree certainly qualifies and probably ranks at the top. It's a property that had great bones. It needed some amenities, which we've added.
Some of the food in that place is a bit beyond really good.
We've gone to great strides to make sure that the whole experience, including the hunt and the lodge and food portion, is over the top, and we've got a great group in now. Tonight you're having a venison Wellington.
Oh darn.
My theory is that we're stewards of the property. We don't ever really own them. We just kind of manage them while we're here, and hopefully we make them better than they were when we got them.
Our next hunt, we're going to go out and stand by the trees. That's Arkansas hunting, from what I can tell. That is the old school deal they've been doing forever.
Nicely done.
Bullseye!
Nice.
That would be a greenhead mallard. Arkansas in a timber, Arkansas style, Kip. That's it.
Winchester Legends is brought to you by Winchester Repeating Arms, the guns that work. By Hunter Specialties, for sportsmen by sportsmen. By Redhead, finest in the field since 1856. And by Winchester Ammunition, the American legend. Stuttgart, Arkansas, duck capital of the world. And the essence of Stuttgart hunting is wading flooded timber and shooting ducks as they whiffle through tree branches.
Our next hunt, we're going to go out and stand by the trees.
Which is a traditional Arkansas style of timber hunting for mallards.
That's Arkansas hunting. That is the old school deal they've been doing forever.
Here they come. Shoot that right.
Yes! It's about concealing yourself by a tree and standing there and maybe using the tree as your hide, moving around it a little bit if you have to, whatever, and coming out and shoot.
Right here.
Sometime in your life, you've got to get out and do it. It is just a really neat experience. It's completely different from what you may be used to.
Right above us. Your bird, Brad, your bird.
Bradley. Lord.
It's tough to know when to shoot.
Nicely done.
Boy, did he come in beautiful though?
He did it.
Good stuff.
It really doesn't compare to any other area I've ever hunted in.
See? Nicely done.
Bullseye! Love that in the trees. This is the real deal, isn't it?
Nicely done.
This is the real deal, man. Kip, is that one of those things they call a mallard, greenhead? I think my best duck hunting memory are those the times that I limit out, remembering the times that I did not. And I think that that's what it's all about. That would be a greenhead mallard. Arkansas style, brother. Arkansas style, Kip.
That's it.
Just to stand by the tree, getting them close, because I know you and I like to get them close.
I want them right there.
That was like off the barrel. Brad got one a little earlier, man. I was way afraid he was going to take you on there for a second.
I thought he was coming right.
Hit him in the head.
It's the mystery of the birds you're chasing. It's the mystery of the fact that even though I sometimes think I've got them totally figured out, and then I realize I got nothing figured out. And I think that's why I keep chasing them. I think every memory is tremendous. and I hope it is forever.
Good stuff.
Don't get any better than that.
Yeah,
Don't get
man.
any better.
Huh? It's the deal, man. Good job, brother. Good job.
Whether you're a hunter, shooter, or both, Winchester has you covered online. Visit Winchester.com to learn about innovative new products, promotions, and what ammo to choose for your next adventure. Launch the award-winning ballistics calculator. Customize your shooting conditions and choose and compare your favorite ammo from 5 categories. Download the app for your iPhone and carry the ballistics calculator with you in the field or on the range. Be a part of the Winchester Hunting and Shooting Nation. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. From expert hunting and shooting tips to exclusive video footage and news, Winchester is your online resource for all things hunting and shooting. Winchester.com. Experience the American legend.